So we're going to talk about my favorite submission today. Can anyone take a wild guess what that might be? The triangle. Okay. So we're going to go over some details on the triangle to make sure that if you get there, you finish it every time. Then we're going to show two different of my favorite entries to get into the triangle. So we're going to start here. So if I can get to this position here that I call a trap triangle, I generally feel very confident that I'm going to get the submission. So that's with one arm in and his head with my legs wrapped around them, okay? We call this a triangle because the shape that our legs make when we do it, but all we're really doing is cutting off his carotid this side with our leg and the other side with his shoulder and compressing these together, okay? So when we think about a triangle, we think about this shape here, the triangle, and everything's in between there, sort of locking the knee behind the leg. But more important is how tight we get this, okay? So one of the number one things that I think people miss is the angle that we get. So I like to get to my side and looking into his ear. If I do that, I'm naturally making this, this gap tighter here, right? See this triangle here? If I can come round to my side, this space gets smaller, which is going to make it way more tight for him and way more likely that he taps. Okay? So in this position here. The other thing I need to be aware of is his posture. His number one escape is to go straight to the ceiling. Okay? So I always want to be holding on to something here, whether it's the collar or whether it's my own shin. I need to keep his posture down. Okay? So let's imagine we get to this position. We've got this collar grip. Then like to put a foot on the hip. He can't go anywhere still, even though I've opened my triangle. And I'm going to pivot myself around here as far as I can go. Okay? Now I like to grab my shin to keep it even tighter. And I throw this over. I've got the triangle. Ed's getting ready to tap already. See, he just tapped. I'm not even finished. So we throw this over. I'm going to do it light. To give myself even more angle, I'm going to throw this right hand over something this side. Now this could be his arm, this could be his leg, or this could be his body. Here, let's go on this side so everyone can see. So to recap, we got his head and his arm in this gap here. We're controlling his collar to keep his posture down. Foot on the hip to help me pivot round. Grab my shin, throw my leg over so the foot is in the crook of the knee. Now I can either grab the arm, the leg, or even the other side of his body here. But all I want to do is get my body pivoted round. So I'm going to grab the leg, come here, and I'm round. Hold onto the shin, squeeze, we get the tap. Other things to think about is the lower his head is, the easier it is to submit, and the closer my knees are, the easier it is to submit. So I grab here, crunch everything together. It's a really tight choke. So we'll just go over those details one more time. So we're going to imagine that we're here. The next couple of times we're going to show how to get here, but we got to this position. Keep the posture broken, tight grip on the collar. Foot goes on the hip to help push me round, and this leg is coming across the back of his neck, okay? Grab the shin, throw the traditional triangle shape. This is already getting tight for him. I won't lock it so I can show you, okay? I'm going to grab something here. This time I'm going to grab the arm and pivot round. I want to look directly into his ear, okay? Now I'm just going to drag my heel to the floor, pull his head down, squeeze my knees together. Sorry.
You're good.
Super tight triangle. All right, so we're going to go show a first entry into that trap triangle position and finish the triangle from there. So one of them is from close guard. Close guard is one of my favorite positions. I feel like it's asymmetrically advantageous for the guy on bottom. All he has to do is try and escape, whereas I have submissions like triangles, okay? Number of ways we can get to a position here. I'll show you one of my favorites. I'm going to get this deep collar grip and sit up on my elbow and drag him down. Now, one of two things is going to happen. Either he's going to put his hand on my body like this, in which case we can get this over here and go for the back, okay? Different set of techniques. The other thing that will happen is his arm will go on the floor. Okay, so I come up here, bang. And I'm going to shoot this overhook and grab his other collar. So let's turn around a bit. So you see I've got his arm trapped and his collar grabbed. So his posture's broken and this arm is isolated, okay? Now I'm going to throw my hips out this side and control this arm over here, okay? I like this reverse C grip here so I can have a stiff arm. This makes it really hard for Ed to bring his arm back towards me, okay? It also, like this works, but because I'm going to try and bring this leg through this gap, it allows me to lean back further, okay? It gets a little bit tight if I'm here, so I prefer this outside C grip lean back, foot on the bicep. From here, we end up back where we started. Now, one difference is his arm is here, so we need to lift our hips and get the arm over, but we're back in that trap triangle position. Grab the shin, pivot round, find the gap, come around further, squeeze and tap, okay? There's a lot of details there, we'll go through that again, okay? So this is our close guard entry via the overhook close guard. So I've got a deep collar grip, come up on my elbow, really throw him down. Arm goes on the mat. I'm gonna shoot this overhook, shoot my hips out and grab the collar. Control this arm, okay? Another thing we can do for maybe some more of the advanced guys is we can throw this left foot over the top of his shoulder. This breaks the posture even further and prevents him turning into me. Pull this leg through the gap here, and we come back to this trap triangle position. Hips up, get this arm across, and the same finish. Grab the shin, push on the hip, looking in the ear, and down. And try not to make Ed black out anymore. This is the key, the grip here. Once I got this, I'm going to sit up on my elbow. I can go straight and pull it in to get height. And I'm really going to throw him to the floor here. This all happens in one motion. I see his arm hit the floor, that's my trigger. Overhook, grab the far collar, hips out, control the wrist. Now we're there 99% of the time. Foot on the hip, foot on the shoulder if we like. Leg comes in, and we're back to the position that we just looked at. Where the only difference is we have to lift our hips up to get this arm across. Grab the shin, foot on the hip, pivot round, relock the triangle, and squeeze. The reason I like close guard is that we still have an ability to attack if he gets out of it. So if I've got this collar grip, trying to do the move, but Ed stands up immediately and opens my guard, I'm going to go to collar sleeve. So I'm grabbing one of his sleeves, grabbing his collar. This foot is on the hip, and I like to get this foot in the bicep here, okay? This is a really strong position. We can go to a lot of guards from here. I like to really extend this leg out and break his posture here, okay? This sucks for him. If he gets this arm free, I'm just going to keep pummeling back in and taking the bicep. This is my pit stop, okay? So for the more athletically inclined, we can just go from here, okay? We can pull his arm through, throw our hips up, come straight back into that trap triangle position and finish from there. More likely, what we're going to need to do is get his hands to the mat. How we do that is we put a foot on the leg and drag him down to the floor. Sorry, Ed. Good. Okay, once his hand is on the floor, he can't stop this. Same thing. Throw the leg round and get to the trap triangle. Okay? So if we just go up to this collar sleeve position, if you just stand, the trigger here is the gap between his knee and his elbow. Okay? If Ed pulls his knee to his elbow, the triangle is no longer there because I can't make this close guard around his head and his arm, okay? Then we have to transition to other things. Great time to go to De La Riva and do all the stuff that Ed just showed you, okay? So this is why it's really important to have an extension here and make sure the gap between the knee and elbow is available. Once we're here, if the foot's on the bicep, we can slide this over the head, lift our hips, pull him in, and we're back to this trap triangle position. Same thing, arm across, grab the shin, off the hip, sideways, lock the triangle in the leg. One extra tip here, some of you guys are struggling to get this locked here. One thing we can do is do a little back roll. This is going to give us more space there to get this locked in. Pull it together, squeeze, and we get the tap, okay? So one more time. We're in close guard, we're setting up the last thing, we come up here, but he stands before I can get my move. Okay, I've got to switch, a different game now, okay? Collar sleeve. I can see his elbow and knee are getting pretty close. I'm going to extend this leg, get this foot on the bicep. I'm going to put my leg on his hip, drag him down, hand to the floor. That's my cue to go. Throw the leg round, trap triangle, arm across, grab the shin, pivot, relock, grab a leg, an arm, a body, anything here, and heel to the ground. And we get our tap.